All right, we are live on YouTube. I'm just waiting on the video to connect on my other monitor so I can grab that link and put it in our group so that our community can conveniently hop on the YouTube live and into the live chat. Okay, I got the link. Let me put it in here. All right. Let me make sure I can see this live chat. And I can. Great. Let's get started. Welcome to your First Six Figures Morning Show, where every show is intentionally more than an interactive, more like an interactive coaching and training experience to position you, the online service-based entrepreneur, to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. This week's blog is at shaycannon.com/story. That's shaycannon.com/story. Let me throw that link in there for you guys. Because what we're talking about this week is storytelling. In fact, we're talking about the 4 stories you need in your brand. Okay. Storytelling is a unique vehicle that we do not use enough, right? We need to humanize our brand because people do business with other people, not businesses, right? So we need to humanize our brand by telling stories. Now, stories are so important that is the way that history has been passed down. It is the way that which uncle to play with and not play with in your family. Stories is how you know who's going to be the best friend in high school. Stories is how we know when someone took a trip and they picked a place to go, it was the story around the trip that made us want to go and take that trip also. So stories, they have a lot of power and we need to be using them, the power of stories for our brands. Now, there are 4 stories that I need you to create for your brand. The first one is a brand focused story. That is a story focused on the brand as a whole. Things like the origin story of your brand, things like what pivotal things have happened with the brand, but that's brand focused stories. You want to know more about that? Then you need to check out yesterday's replay and get more about that. But today we're going to talk about service or offer focused stories. Okay. I'm torn on which one I want to say. I don't know if I want to say service focused story or offer focused story, but since you are service-based businesses, it really shouldn't matter. But sometimes the story is going to be on your service as a whole, right? I am a fractional chief operating officer. So that is the service that I provide on one part of my business. And then business coaching is the service that I provide on the other part of my business. But within each of those businesses, there are, I knew that doggone. Okay, there we go. And in each part of my business, there are offers. Okay, so I want y'all to kind of get that. Like the brand and the service is like the umbrella, and under that umbrella of service, you have offers. You have a main offer, you might have some down sales, you might have some up sales, you might have some cross sales, but each one of those are different offers. So understand that part first, okay? So whether you're talking about the service as a whole or an offer that's under the umbrella of your service, there should be a story around it, okay? Now, we're not creating stories for every offer though. We're not. We're creating stories for the main offer. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that you should have a main thing that is forward facing. Those down sales are not really forward facing. For some of y'all, the upsells aren't forward facing because until you get the main thing, you shouldn't even know about the upsell. So the main thing is the only offer that really has a story behind it. Okay. We're not creating stories for $10 downloads. That's not what we're doing. All right. Now, let's go to the blog now that I've given you that extra little piece to think about. So service/offer focused stories highlight the unique value that your products or services have. These stories often detail how your offers solve problems, provide transformation, or deliver unexpected benefits. They help your audience understand the tangible and emotional benefits of your product or service, making them more compelling and relatable. Okay. These stories also build credibility and provide proof of your brand's effectiveness. So when we are creating a narrative around our service or a narrative around our main thing offer, it is to highlight the good things about it, and the story, we wrap it in the story to help people to remember it. Okay. Help them to remember it. I had a lady in my mastermind, and every time that I would see her, um, I would know that there's a wrong way to pronounce her name and there's a right way to pronounce her name. But when I would see her and get ready to say her name, I would, for the life of me, not remember which one was right and which one was wrong. So I didn't know if it was Rakia or was it Rakaya. One of them is right, one of them is wrong. And when I look at her to get ready to say, hey, dang it, I can't remember which one. So she finally told me, oh, it's Rakaya, like Rakaya on fire. I was like, oh, now I would never forget. Okay. Now, every time I see it, not only do I say, hey, Rakaya, I say, hey, Rakaya on fire. Okay. So that story stuck with me. But before that, I couldn't for the life of me remember. So stories help people to remember the important things. It's almost like when you're giving your child medicine, you might wrap it in chocolate or something so that it goes down well. And then now they might want it. They don't want the medicine. They want the chocolate that was around it. People want the story. Okay. So we need to give them the story. Now, on the morning show, we go beyond the blog and I give you more. So let me pull out these show notes. Here we go. Okay, so today I have for you another 10 actionable strategies for you to create your service or offer focused stories. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to the 10. Then I'm going to share with you a ChatGPT prompt. Y'all know I got you because I know it's hard to come up with these stories, right? I'm starting to write books based on prompts and stuff, but it's hard to kind of to marry what you need in a story, but I have a prompt that's going to help you. It's even going to ask you questions to make it even better. Okay. Now, in studio, when we do our round robin, Dr. LaFera is going to be first. And the question I want you guys to be thinking about is which offer, okay, would be best to create a story around, and what is amazing about that offer that is worthy of it being focused on for a story. And if you need help, what you need to be thinking about and tell us concisely is the way that let me see, what is it? The problem that it solves, how it solves it, and how it stands out from similar solutions. So basically, we want to know what's special about that thing. Okay. And again, today we are bragging. We are bragging today. Let me see if I can put this in the chat. I don't like the fact that YouTube is capping my number of characters because it always throws me off when I put these long-winded questions in here. And then I have to come in here and take it back. All right. Let's go through our 1 through 10. That is not the document that I want. Let's go to the 1 through 10 strategies that's going to help you to create your story around your service or your offer. Okay. Number 1, how a specific service saved a client time or money. Okay. How did you save a client time or money? Okay. I would add to that, how did you make them more money? I love to hear like accountants or tax preparers tell us how they saved one client this amount of money, right? That let me know that you're detail oriented and that you're going to keep me from having to pay more taxes than I'm supposed to pay. So I want to come to you when you tell me that story, that's what you've done for your old clients, because that's what I want somebody to do for me as a client. So we need to tell stories that's about that. How did you save them time, money, or make them extra money? One of the stories that I tell in my brand is how I took a client from around $20,000. I'm sorry, not 20, $200,000 a year in revenue to $500,000 in revenue, based on the strategies I put into her business as a fractional COO. That hits harder than, hey, I have a client that I work with as a fractional COO. If I just say that, you're like, oh, okay. But if I tell you, as a fractional COO, I came into my business, my client's business, she was making around $200,000 a year annually, right? And so I looked at her business and I created a program that filled a gap and took her from that and doubled it, more than doubled it, and got her to $500,000 annually. That story is going to do more to help you to remember who I am, what I do, and make you work for me. I want to work with me. I'm sorry. So these stories, important. Number 2, an offer that exceeded client expectations. An offer that exceeded client expectations. I have another example of that. Every client that has hired me as a fractional COO within the first week have asked me, when is your contract up? You're not leaving me, are you? Ma'am, you just signed this contract. Like you should know. But it's a testament to when I came into their business to manage things, they felt an immediate sense of relief. And they recognized that, hey, I don't want this relief, this feeling of relief to go anywhere. Okay, so an offer or service that exceeded client expectations. Okay, number 3, an innovative way a client used your offering. An innovative way your client used your offering. I had a client that I got her so clear on her business that she was getting, she had a PR agency. She's getting in clients that it's hard for her to get PR for because they're not clear in her business. So she added in an extra session where they have a session with me before they get started with the PR stuff so that they know what they're doing PR for, right? So an innovative way a client used your offering. Number 4, a step-by-step story of how your service works. Okay. Remember, we've talked about formulas. Y'all got that in phases. We got that last week when we talked about creating phases for our service to create template proposals. So now that you have those phases, you can very easily have stories around walking somebody through those phases. And let me tell you, the story is not about the phases. The story is about how the phases gets everything that you need so that you can give them everything that they need. The story can be how it usually takes you this long to go through the phases, but for this particular client, for this whatever reasons, it only took you this long, right? Or it could have took you that long, like longer than usual, but they got an unusual result at the end. So that was a step-by-step story on how your service works. Some of that is going to be how you stand out from competitors. Because let me tell you, in this service industry, people who don't go down into the minutia of having steps and phases, they're always missing something. Okay. Think back to what I call the McDonald's method, right? If you're not building that Big Mac the same way every time, some people are getting good Big Macs and some people are getting ones that are not quite right. Some people are getting ones that's missing the cheese. Some of them might be missing the middle part of the bread. We need process and phases to our service. And those who don't have that, they have negative things and negative impacts happening. So we need to talk about the positive impacts of us having a step-by-step system. All right, number 5, a story about the creation or development of your offer. I talk about it all the time. Shawana is here. Shawana was in the first phase of my course, and those people that were in the beta version of that course helped me to make it better. And the course that's coming out is even better than that course, right? As I have different workshops that are going on, every time I have a workshop, it helps when I have my strategy sessions with people, there's an evolution to that roadmap. If you've gotten a roadmap from me a year ago versus a roadmap from me this year, especially towards the end of the year, that roadmap is a little more keen. It's a little more sharp. It got a little more value in it, right? So the evolution of your service or an offer. Let's go to number 6, an unusual problem your offer helped solve. An unusual problem your offer helped solve. Okay. It's amazing to me how when I go into businesses to manage, and I am now the liaison between the CEO and the team, how much now the team, I'm going to say, favorably looks at the CEO because I am explaining along the way certain things. It's almost like going from being a single parent to there now being another parent in the household to help you shoulder responsibility. That single parent, you know what I'm saying, they don't always get the benefit of being the, you know, the fun parent and then the disciplinarian. Sometimes they just got to be the disciplinarian. And so when you bring another person in with power also and decision making, it kind of evens stuff out. Now things are a little less, the tension is kind of gone, right? So what are some ways that an unusual problem your offer helped to solve? Number 7, how has your service improved a client's quality of life? Again, in the first week, all this stress is coming off of them. The team is not pinging them anymore. They're coming to me instead of to them. All the problems come to me. When a problem happens, I am the first barrier of solving that problem. So for you, in your business, in your service, in one of your offers, how has your service improved a client's quality of life? Build a story around that. Number 8, a testimonial story of a client who swears by your solution. Okay. Which one of your clients is just such a cheerleader and swears by the solution that you put out there? You can definitely build a story around that. I use a story for the free group based on you guys' feedback. What do I now say? It is a free business mastermind that's better than some paid masterminds. Where did I get that information from? You guys. Right? You guys who have been in the free group and gotten all of this value, one thing that y'all were constantly saying was, oh, this group that's free, I'm getting more value out of your group that's free than some of the ones I paid for. Bet it up. Let me tell everybody else what y'all said, okay? So this is how you're using what other people's testimonial was with you as now a part of the story you tell about an offer or a service, all right? Number 9. A breakdown of the thought process behind a new feature or service. Now, again, I do this all the time, a new feature. Shout out to Cheryl. In our paid membership, we now have a roadmap of how best to go through the trainings, okay, in that productivity membership to help you get the most out of the membership as quickly as possible. So that new feature came from Cheryl saying, hey, I don't know where to find stuff, right? I don't know what to do what am I supposed to do first? How do I navigate this, right? So I went from creating a dashboard. Before Cheryl came on, there was a dashboard where everybody can find stuff because they kept asking me, where was the link? Where is it? Okay, now all that stuff is centrally located. Then when Cheryl came in, she said, hey, I don't really know where to start with things. Hey, roadmap. Let's put us a roadmap together. So what is the breakdown in the thought process behind a new feature or service that can be part of the story? Last but not least, number 10, a client's review turned into an engaging narrative. A client's review turned into an engaging narrative. There are many ways to do that, right? You can even, I like the idea of interviewing a client that has gotten such a transformation from your business and using that interview as marketing or using that interview on the website. But what was said in the interview can now be the narrative that you tell about your service based on that client's glowing review. Okay, so I'm gonna go back through the 10 without all of my awesome examples so that Dr. LaFera can get ready. Okay. Number 1, how a specific service saved the client time and money. Number 2, an offer that exceeded client expectations. Number 3, an innovative way a client used your offer. Number 4, a step-by-step story of how your service works. Number 5, a story about the creation or development of your offer. Number 6, an unusual problem your offer helped to solve. Number 7, how has your service improved a client's quality of life? Number 8, a testimonial story of a client who swears by your solution. Number 9, a breakdown of the thought process behind a new feature or service. Last but not least, number 10, a client's review turned into an engaging narrative. All right, let's check in on YouTube. Hey, Glow, good morning. Good morning. All right. So the question is for both our YouTube viewers and in studio, gonna do the round robin, starting with Dr. LaFera. Which offer would be best to create a story around, and what is amazing about that offer that's worthy of a focus of a story? Let's go with it.
I guess it's my VIP intensive. That's like a second level program, and that's where people get to spend time with me, and I go through all of their health information labs, all that, and I come out with an energy rescue plan for them so they have more energy. And they can have it naturally, and I give them like quick wins with it, and then it ends with a detox. What's so amazing about it is people get their, they get to feel what it's like to be able to use like simple stuff like what's in their kitchen or what's around them, or what they already had and they didn't realize it, to start to get their life back.
Okay, but give me something that's a story, because you basically have told
Oh,
me
what's the story around it?
Yeah, like who you helped that had such a great. That's what we talking about, Dr. LaFay. How you gonna say story?
Okay, well, I guess I help, like, and she's not in my average age range, but I help someone who was always having gas and bloating all the time, miserable to eat her food. She told me that I didn't tell my family how I felt, but sometimes I wish I would die. And because of all the stuff I recommended, and it wasn't a lot, I recommended she change her diet. I recommended that she start seeing a chiropractor and, stuff like that. And she has lots of energy now. I feel good every time I see her. People tell her she looks like years younger than she is. She's not walking kind of bent over anymore. She looks good. So
I love that. Now,
I
see, that's a
created that with
story.
her in mind.
But this is what I need you to stop doing. So first of all, I
What?
want you to practice being concise. But a part of what makes you not concise is you add in stuff that are caveats. Oh, she's not in my age range. Oh, it wasn't this. It wasn't that. Leave all of that out and go straight to this is how I helped her and this is what she is now, right? We don't need the caveats. Go straight to the meat of it.
Okay.
Gotcha. Cool beans. Shawana Kennedy, Kennedy Media. Which offer would be best to create a story around, and what is amazing about that offer that is worthy of being focused on for a story?
One of the stories that come top of mind would be a client review, and how whenever he speaks about me, Kennedy Media, of how he feels dressed before he even gets the call with a potential client and they do their online review, the visibility review, how he feels seen, how he feels dressed. So that's one of the stories that come top of mind for me, which definitely would fit in. As you know, we've been talking, even though I don't have any offer that speaks to the social media portion of what I do, but in order for me to do certain things to scale financially, I am going to have to start making noise about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of the stories that I could tell in any given space, because I could call him now and he would rave about the service, and that speaks to the social media side.
I love that. You also have a client that came in under one service, and she just keep pushing you to offer more services because she basically wants you to do everything in her business, right?
This now,
So
see, there it
I'm
is.
just saying.
Yeah,
So that
now,
evolution
okay, yes.
is a great story to talk about, right? So
Okay,
she
okay.
really made you go into all the gifts and create a package where she can take advantage of all of your talents. So that is definitely a story
Yes,
worth
Jay,
telling.
you are so right.
Yes, yes. Cool
Yeah.
beans. Thank you, Shawana.
Mhm.
All right, Cheryl. What offer would be best to create a story around, and what is amazing about that offer that is worthy of being the focus of a story?
My offer business as a literary agent. Because of all the work that I did hands-on in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
I understood how publishing companies worked, how they chose books, authors, et cetera, from marketing to quality of craft. And so, um, one of the stories that I have is that I had a client, have still, a client that was orphaned by her editor, which means that her editor left the business, went on somewhere else, and she was passed over to another editor.
Yeah.
The new editor offered her a new contract at subpar money.
Mm.
And I asked her, who do you want to write for? Who's your dream company? And she told me. And I crafted a proposal, sold her to the dream company for a very lucrative, hard, soft deal. And at the end of the day, the quality of her life improved, number one, because of her pay. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, she was now working with an editor who enjoyed her and her work. And number three, because I bring to the table the editing, the all this good stuff that a lot of agents don't offer, but I want to see you make the sale that's close to the money that you ought to be earning. And so this was such a deal that I had people calling me saying, hey, I want what you did for so and so. And I said, what did I do for them? Because there was an NDA on that. So then we had to solve the mystery of who leaked. God is good. He had somebody call one day and they said, yeah, so and so said blah, 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 blah. I related it to the editor and the executive VP, and everything was a good deal. So that is something that I'll just never forget the joy in this woman's face, and in her voice, because she was now working with people who appreciated her. Her stress levels were down. There was just across the board, her life was better.
I love that. So we already know that because you're such a storyteller, you're gonna have to work on being concise. Because the part about the
Yes.
NDA took away from the story, right? But also, Cheryl, think about crafting a story around how you not only help people get book deals, but you help them get movie deals based on their book. Now, see, that's something. Somebody who
Yes.
only
Yes, we
deals with
did.
books don't do that. You see, they have no
Right.
idea because people don't understand a book and a screenplay is two different styles of writing, right?
Absolutely.
And it's going to get you two different ways of money. And so, yeah, I think that you should craft a story around that too. So I like the one that you gave. Leave out some of the stuff, and then craft one around the fact that you can help these folks get some movie deals because I'm so tired of these reboots and these
Yeah.
sequels. So they need you out there in
Well,
this cinematography land. So yeah,
and we did sell the rights to the movie.
love it. That's what I'm saying. Add that into the story. Cool beans. Kimberly is in studio, but she's at the Dream Funder. So Kimberly, if you can go ahead and answer the question in the studio comments. And I will share it with the peoples. So Dr. Tachi, which offer would be best to create a story around? And what is amazing about that offer that is worthy of being the focus of a story?
So number eight, I forgot how exactly you phrased it. Uh, it
Want me
it
to go back to it? Number
uh,
8 was a testimonial story of a client who swears by your solution.
eh. Okay, so I there's a lot of crossover between myself and Shawana, and
Mhm.
I was asked to do like with 4 days notice
Mm,
the National Optometric Association conference. So that's everything from like running the sessions virtually, running the sessions,
mhm,
and all of that. But not only did I do that, I selected the music for the in-betweens. We had little quizzes and fun things in between, things that they just told us basically because I don't think they knew exactly what they wanted,
yeah,
but it was above and beyond. So
mhm,
now, because of that and because of the short time period I was able to do that,
mhm.
I was asked this year, I can't do it, but I was asked, can you do and it wasn't just the National Optometric Association, which is the Black optometrists. This
Okay.
was now for the general organization if I could do it, and I can't because it's in person. But that was a testament to they feel they needed me again. So
Yes. I love it. I love that. All right, let's go to Dr. Latoya. Dr. Latoya got a whole bunch of stories and great stuff going on, and she's so quiet about it all, but she getting better. She getting better. So, Dr. Latoya, which offer would be best to create a story around, and what is amazing about that offer that is worthy of being the focus of a story?
Well, I'm actually going to start with how you just led it, right? Part of my challenge is I never want to tell, I want to say people's business. And I know I'm not using their names and I'm not using like, specific things, but I feel like because people come to me in confidentiality, the work that we do, I don't share it. And so typically it's like, if I'm on some type of public setting, like I'm in the podcast or something, and then they tell a story, then I'm like, okay, now I have permission, right, to reshare this story. And again, I still won't use their information. But part of that is like my own mental block. So that's why I very rarely give like, and this transformation happened, right? And this thing happened, because when I do it, it's very high level with no details. But to your credit, I mean, to the real question that you just asked, I think one of the stories that I tell often is how I even started offering courses. And so for me, that is doing one-on-one consultations consistently. And people kept asking me or saying they wanted to learn how to do what I do. And I would try to refer them to my teachers, and people were like, no, we want to learn. Basically, they wanted to learn from someone Black. And I heard it enough times, and eventually I offered the course, and then it has just taken off and blown up from there. So that's a story that I tell often.
Love that. I also love the story of how you came to have these offers, right? Like how this gift came to you to help you, and that now you share that gift with other people. I love that story
Yes.
too. Now, I will
Yes.
tell you that when it comes to telling other people's story, maybe it will help that in your terms of service or in a contract you include a clause that's confidentiality, but as a part of that you say, hey, I may use a situation of your transformation, but I would never use your name. You know what I'm saying? So what that did for me, because kind of like, first of all, I'm from the South, right? And I come from a family where you don't tell folks business and you don't tell our business. Well, go on in this house, stay in this house, right? So I have that kind of trauma, is what that is. But it comes over to telling other people's stuff, right? You're not supposed to tell the stuff. And so even though you're not saying the name, and even though they would never guess, you know who it is. So it feels like you're still telling too much. But what helped me to overcome that is in my confidentiality clause, I say in there that I may, use you as a case study or tell about your transformation, but I would never use your name. So I feel like even if I don't get a chance to tell them one-on-one, it was at least somewhere where they could have read it. And I feel better about now using that stuff, right? And y'all know I give y'all testimonies on this morning show all the time because y'all are on here. And so, yeah, so you just have to get over it. Again, we as women, we have a problem bragging. And that's why all this week I'm saying it's time to brag. Because we're holding back stuff, people don't know how great we are. And then these mediocre people out here bragging and they can't even get the transformation you can give. And them same people making you mad, but you're not telling people how amazing you are. And so this is a part of the storytelling. We have to learn how to brag, right? It's why now I intentionally, as part of any training that I do on that front part of the presentation where I'm introducing myself, I tell them, hey, I'm not modest at all. I'm kind of a big deal. I started making myself say that. Right? Because I know I'm a big deal. I need you to know I'm a big deal. And I need to stand in confidence or what they stand on business about me because I am amazing and I need people to know. And so these are the, you know what I'm saying? And so if you don't believe it, how are they going to believe it? So we have to work on bragging on ourselves. There's a couple of books written by women. One is Brag and one is Brag More or something like that. But we need to learn how to brag because it is not the negative thing we grew up being told. It's not that thing we were told where, little girls should be seen and not heard. No. We need to be heard because we see what happens when we're quiet. We need to be heard and we are amazing and we need people to know. So thank you for that, Dr. Latoya. Over here on the YouTube side, we got Glow. Glow says she want to do number 4 and number 8. So let me go back to my show notes. Number 4 is a step-by-step story of how her service works. And number 8 is, again, a testimonial story of a client who swears by her solution. So those are the ones that she is going to use. Let's get into this ChatGPT prompt. I'm gonna share my screen so that y'all can kind of read along with me. As I give it to you. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So your prompt for today's service/office-based or focused story is insert your elevator pitch. And then you say, write a story that highlights the unique value of my service. Start with a description of a common problem faced by my target audience. Introduce my service as the solution and detail how it works to address the problem. Include a client's experience using it, the benefits they gained, and how it improved their life or business. End with a call to action that reinforces the value of my offer. Ask me questions so that you can write the best and most compelling narrative to be used as my, that should say, service story. Let's make it say that, service story, because y'all know I'll forget later. Service/offer story, okay? Again, if you tell ChatGPT what you want, and then you tell it to ask you questions so that you can get the best version and output of what you want, it's going to start asking you questions based on what you want the end result to be. And once you start answering the questions, it's going to help you to craft the best story for this service/offer story. All right. So that will be in the show notes. Cool beans. Does anybody have any questions? We have gone over this week 2 stories. One is your brand focus story, and now you have your service/offer focus story. Any questions about either one? Dr. Tachi?
Not a question, just a comment in terms of how helpful this is in terms of crafting a brand story, because sometimes it feels, well, let me speak for me. It feels like you're so busy trying to get things together and up that I wasn't really thinking as much about the brand story. It's like, okay, let me just do it. So thank you. This is very helpful.
Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome. Shawana?
I echo what Dr. Tati is saying. And then also when I think about my website, with some of these stories, I know that we can do them when we're amongst other people. We can do them, of course, in my case, when you're being seen and being heard. What about the website? What's your suggestion for some of these stories and placement of them on the site?
So I think they should be all around the site, and this is why you need different stories, right? So the brand story can definitely be on the homepage, okay? This story about the offer of the service can now be on your service page. And we're going to talk about more stories. We're going to talk about a community-focused story, and we're going to talk about a customer-focused story. But these stories can appear in different ways on each page, right? So it can always be either a snippet or a full story that's a part of the copy, because at the end of the day, for each page, whatever is the true focal point of that page, that's where I would create the story around, right? So the brand story needs to be on the homepage. If you have, most of us have websites with our name on them, but you can have a excerpt from the brand story on the homepage and then the full story on the about page, right? So if you're using your personal brand, you can have an excerpt about you on the homepage and a story about the brand. And then when they go to the about page, that's what a story is about you. So every page can have a story, but you have to make sure it makes sense for that page. Like, what is the thing that you want to happen on this page? We have a story that reinforces that so that they remember that thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool beans. I mean, you can even put a story on a contact page, right? It could be a part of a client testimonial. Just like Dr. Tachi just said that somebody called her late and got, all of these things on that contact page. You can have a little excerpt on there to be like, don't wait, contact me today. I had a client that contacted me last minute about this and they ended up getting this, what I'm saying? Don't wait, type of thing. Everything can be a story based on the purpose of that page. All right, any more questions? We got brand focused or service / offer focused stories. Glow said, yes, thank you. I need to learn how to brag more. I'm still humble, but people need to know. Yes, they do. And then she said this was very helpful. Also, Shawana, when I told the story about the your client that wanted more and more and more, Glow said, that's dope, Shawana. And I responded to her and said, isn't it a dope story? These are the things we should be sharing. So again, if people don't know you're amazing, it's your fault. That's what I'm going to say. If they don't know you're amazing, it's your fault. We need to put the narratives out there because again, it's so funny and ironic how the people who are not amazing tell amazing stories. I'm gonna tell you. So you want to know why that person who can't do what you do is making more money than you? They open their mouth and tell amazing stories and tell people how amazing they are, even though they may not be. They feel amazing though, and they telling anybody to listen. You are amazing and you're not saying anything. So let's get out there and tell these stories. All right. All right, let's go to the announcements. Okay. So today, the prompt and the list. Dr. Tachi, did you want to add something before I go to these announcements?
Oh, that was a mistake.
Oh,
But
okay.
I will add something.
Okay.
Non-melanated people have no problem talking about what they do and how amazing they are.
I would even go so far as to say we don't even have to pick a skin tone or lack thereof. Men audacity clearly be on sale. Men are the most mediocre man. Let me tell you, but we're not gonna be we're not gonna focus on that. All we're gonna do is tell you.
Oh, no.
Whether you're a man or non-melanated, tell your story. But everybody needs to tell your story. But don't nobody tell a story like a non-melanated man. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it comes from the societal rearing, especially for Black women, that we're taught humility and you need to be humble, and it is not a good thing or it is not a Christian thing to tell people about yourself, and it's hard to overcome that. So, and I wasn't saying it to be whatever. That's not something that
I don't believe that you were saying it for that. It is exactly what you said. And for me, being raised in a mixed household, I see the difference in children who are empowered and children who are shut down, right? So, guess what? If you at the top of the food chain as a race and as a people, your children are going to be on the top of the food chain and not mind doing certain things. There's a huge difference. And what I'm saying is that it is our job to come up out of that. Like it is our job that no matter what programming that you had, you need to be changing your programming. If you need help with that, that's kind of what Dr. Latoya does. But I'm just saying, have a consult or something. But Cheryl, what did you want to add?
I just want to remind people about the show Amazing Stories. If you look at how they structure those stories to grab you in, they're absolutely mesmerizing. And I think we could take some points from delivery from that show.
What network is this show on?
I don't know if it's still on networks. You can find it on YouTube and other streaming platforms, but just type in Amazing Stories, the show.
Gotcha. Cool beans. Awesome. This is a good day. Okay. So another day where you probably need these 10 strategies and this ChatGPT prompt as my show notes. So there are only 2 ways you can get my show notes. Number 1, you have to be in the free group. That is a free business mastermind, better than some paid masterminds. You should be in that group. So go to shaycannon.info/group, sign up. The show notes live in the files section of the group. Number 2 way that you can get the show notes, you can get more than the show notes. You can get the entire morning show in your email inbox. You will get one email that reminds you to hop on the YouTube live. And then you'll get another email in the afternoons that will give you 2 links, one to the replay and one to the show notes. So if you want the entire morning show in your inbox, go to shaycannon.com/show. All right. Thursday, we are having fuck up night virtual happy hour for the paid membership. And then the free group can come in on the last portion of that. But what we're doing is bring what's effing up in your business so we can fix it over drinks. Okay. The event details are in the free group. Next week, we're having our free training for the month of December. It's our last training of the year, y'all. And it is about planning for your goals in the new year. So you need to go to shaycannon.com/planning 2025. And basically what you're going to do is we're going to plan your 2025 goals. And so you don't want to miss this training, the last one of the year. All right. Find out more about me, your host, and the free mastermind, and any links that I have from this episode down below in the description. But guess what? I'm going to ask a favor, and that is, if you haven't already, help us out and give us a thumbs up to like our episode, okay? And then subscribe to the channel. And I need you to know that this episode is one of 4, so you can check out the other episodes also so that you're not lost. You need all of the information, okay? Well, that's it. The studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you right back here tomorrow when we go